Hello, everyone, and a greetings on this Holy Week as we begin to read over the final chapters of 2 Samuel. Today is Mark's video number 26. Where we left off, David had made his way back to Jerusalem after having been resisted and pushed out by Absalom. And so we read through the downward spiral of David's monarchy following his encounter, his sin with Bathsheba. And now that he has been restored to Jerusalem, we might ask, will things get any better? Will this book end any better? Well, here's a character that's introduced in chapter number 21, a man named Sheba, and he is highlighting what appears to be a disconnect between the monarchy and the people. We have no share in David, no inheritance in him. Meaning, there's a disconnect. He's not going to leave anything behind, as it were, for the people. He's not going to make this world for us any kind of better place. It's curious that this man's name is Sheba, and of course David's adulterous moment was with a woman named Bathsheba. This is in a literary perspective of what's happening. This is serving as a reminder of David's continued troubles ever since his occasion with Bathsheba. So Sheba is causing this rebellion, trying to stir up the people. David is going to send Joab to pursue Sheba. Eventually, Sheba is going to be beheaded. We've read of multiple instances of beheading in 1 and 2 Samuel. One of the reasons why is in these honor-shame societies, the parts of the body become symbolic, and the head is the symbol of honor, and to take someone's head is becomes dishonorable to the deceased, of course, but a prize of honor to the one who had defeated the other. So then we move into chapter 21. There's a famine for 3 consecutive years, it says. Now, most of my audience have heard me talk about these kinds of elements that were very crucial to agrarian life. They had little excess, even of food. C.C. McCown, who was a former president of the Society for Oriental Studies, he was a archaeologist and historian, as well as sociologist. All of those 3 disciplines kind of converged. He said that the people of this part of the world had to resort to the crudest methods of farming, and said that it was a, quote, a miracle that they were even able to survive. 3 famines. There's something significant in that number 3. Insomuch as following a first famine, things would be hard. People would have to go into the reserves. It would be a year of hunger because people would be eating less. This was in a society where people were already greatly malnourished. Furthermore, after the second year of famine, the reserves would pretty much be depleted. And so you're counting on the third year to salvage, to rescue you out of this famine. But the third year means massive starvation. And so this is a huge attention getter. But it's not associated, at least theologically here, with David's demise, but still from unfinished business from King Saul. The Gibeonites are demanding blood of sorts because they were treated unjustly. They had been slaughtered by Saul. If it is any sort of rebuke of David, it's that he hasn't made amends for this. But now he is going to try, because theologically this famine is because of the blood that's on the monarch's hands, monarchy, even though it was of David's predecessor. The people, the Gibeonites, they don't want money. They don't want widespread revenge. They want a reckoning. They want to execute those who are remaining of Saul's house. And here's where it becomes ironic. There is the Mephibosheth, who the lame son of Jonathan, who David brought in under his protection. About the last significant thing that he did before his downward spiral that began with Bathsheba. And so here it's ironic here that here Mephibosheth comes around again. David had offered him a seat at the king's table and protection. And now David removes that protection and lets Mephibosheth and others meet their ends by way of a reckoning. This isn't a rebuttal of David, but at the same time, it continues to be a presentation during this era of time that's quite a bit negative. And then near the conclusion of this chapter, David finds a permanent burial place for the bones of Saul and Jonathan. What they would do during that time is put a body in something like a cave. Remember, we're in Holy Week now. The body of Jesus, it rested in a tomb, which meant a cave with a stone over it. It did that to give enough time for the body to decay into bones, being the only remnant. And then those bones would be buried somewhere in a permanent family plot. And so after so much time has gone by, now David is taking care of the bones of Saul and Jonathan. Maybe there's a slight rebuttal here. He should have done this before, but he's doing it now. He's still taking care of old business. But the chapter does end with some positives. He's able to defeat the Philistines. So if we're taking it at this point, we're not knowing the ending yet, but knowing that we're winding down, we're curious here. How's all of this going to end still? What's going to be the permanent, or at least what we're left off in the closing remarks of this book? Where is everything going to stand? And so anyway, I will meet you at tomorrow's video, and then Wednesday's video. We're covering just one chapter, the final chapter. The content is shorter, and I'm going to try to synthesize some ideas. Perhaps if you have some questions, email me, text me, call me. However, we're going to attempt to address certain things. If maybe it's not a question, it's a comment or something you would like addressed, as I try to synthesize some of this material in that final video on Wednesday. And so until next time.